can actually see the apartment. It didn't feel that different to dining out the back garden.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most credible voice in true crime. Speaking of credible, this is pretty incredible. It's, I guess, par for the course of the crazy McCann circus, but it is something that I kind of predicted. I don't know if you remember in a previous video I said, couldn't there have been a dirty deal? This is before this article came out. This article came out yesterday, the 23rd of June. And I spoke about a dirty deal and why is all of this happening? Well, couldn't someone have made a deal with Christian Brückner and said, we'll give you this, we'll give you a perk in jail, we'll give you money, we'll give you whatever. We just need you to shut up, and we're going to pin this whole thing on you. And do you mind? And Amaral said, the best scapegoat is a dead one. Well, what's closest to that? Someone is not going to say anything. But then you say, well, what kind of deal could he have gotten? And here's an article written by Nick Pisa, dated 23rd June 2020 in The Sun. And I'll put the link in the description. The article is dated Freedom Bid. Madeleine McCann suspect could be free by next week, thanks to new parole bid. And what they say in the first paragraph of this article is that his lawyers have filed a request for him to be freed after serving 2/3 of a 20-month drug rap sentence. So he didn't have a very long sentence, and he's only served 2/3 of it, and now it looks like he might be released. So the breakthrough suspect, the bombshell, explosive world headlines. This is the guy who killed Madeleine. Let's let him go sooner rather than later. Oh, and no trial, no charges, and I don't know if there's even going to be an investigation. And then, how does it work that the guy that's just been announced as the suspect actually gets released earlier? Well, doesn't it actually fit perfectly? Doesn't that actually fit perfectly from the point of view I've just given you? He's only served 2/3 of his sentence, and now he's being released. Well, why is he being released without serving the other third? Well, isn't that what he was told? You don't have to serve that third. You don't have to be in jail while the coronavirus is going on. Just let us pin this thing on you and don't say anything. Okay, that's fine. I'm just saying, don't you think that could have happened? And the joke of this article, again, you sort of got to wonder, do these journalists sit in their cubicles giggling? Do they sort of snort above their coffee cups at one another at what they've just written? Anyway, he says they fear, I don't know who they is, who is they? They fear he could flee the country, leaving them, who's them, unable to pursue him through the courts. Well, if he doesn't flee and if he stays in jail, is he going to go to court? No, of course he's not. There is no court case. There is no prosecution. That's already been established. It's been established that there's not going to be a trial. There's not going to be any charges. There's no evidence. That's what makes it such a circus. It's so effing ridiculous. He goes on, the article goes on to say his lawyers last week applied to a court, right, and then to another court, and then now it's passed to Germany's federal court, and then it says Drifter Christian B. I don't know why you call him Christian B. It's Christian Brückner. We all know who it is. But maybe 5 years from now, people will read this article and not know who it is and not care who it is. Anyway, was sentenced to 21 months in 2011 for his part in a drugs trafficking ring. So I don't know, has this got to do with that sentence? Has he been appealing it for all of this time? Anyway, prosecutors announced this month that the convicted paedophile was the prime suspect for the 3-year-old Madeleine's abduction. They have concrete evidence that she's dead. We just don't know what it is. They've got concrete evidence she's dead, but well, there's no body, there's no grave, there's no forensic evidence, there's no DNA evidence, there's no scientific evidence. So what is the concrete evidence? I imagine that the concrete evidence is someone's version of what concrete evidence is. So something like that he said something in a chat room, and now that's concrete evidence. So something he said is now the evidence. Or he confessed that he killed her. Maybe he signed a document saying, I confess that he killed her. That's now the concrete evidence. Also not really evidence. Or what else could it be? What else could be the concrete evidence? Another possibility is photo or video. Maybe there is photo or video of him doing something to a little child, and maybe the child looks like Madeleine. I don't think it is Madeleine, but maybe the concrete evidence is, well, it could be Madeleine. The kind of thing that you get with a lot of CCTV footage. This could be that person, yeah, but it could also not be. This is not going to be a very long video. Just scrolling down in the same article, there's an infographic showing more clues in Maddie's disappearance. Just once again, I don't know why the Sun are publishing a picture of Tanner Man. This guy's got dark hair, Tanner Man. Tanner Man has been debunked. How many years ago? I think 7 years ago, Tanner Man was debunked in 2013. So why are you still putting pictures up of Tanner Man? I just don't really understand it. I don't like. Are you idiots, or do you lack attention spans, or what? And then in the graphic under that, it shows a little bit of information. Police dogs alerted to the blue sofa. Alerted to what? Alerted to blood, human blood, and cadaver traces. And then it shows parents, Kate and Jerry, slept with 2 single beds together. Well, maybe you also want to say that they also alerted in that room, in the closet, 2 cadaver traces in the parents' bedroom. Single bed where Madeleine slept. The blankets looked like someone didn't actually sleep in the bed. So even that statement, single bed where Madeleine slept, Madeleine didn't sleep there when she died. Madeleine wasn't asleep when she died. Madeleine, you've got to ask yourself this whole story of the abduction, and you say, no, the reason she didn't cry when she was abducted was she was sedated. Oh, so did the abductor sedate her, wake her up and to sedate her, but she didn't cry then. And how did he sedate her? By injecting her. Did he also sedate the twins? Why didn't they cry when he broke in to sedate them? The same Sun article refers to the window and shutters as the main source of the investigation. It's also what the detective said is dubious. There's no fingerprints on those shutters. The shutters weren't damaged. There was no sign of a break-in with those shutters. So it shouldn't have been the main source of the investigation. And what self-respecting burglar would break in through a window in full view of the parking lot, which is immediately behind there, and also in full view of the apartments, which are multi-story looking down on there? I've been there, so I can tell you how obvious it is to look into there. And then instead of going just around the door where it is open, it's unlocked, and it wouldn't make any noise. So why would you choose the worst way of breaking in? I'll tell you why. Because the McCanns were watching like hawks the sliding door, and they were kind of protecting Madeleine there, and they didn't know someone's going to break in through the back entrance. Now, what's also very interesting, and I discovered this when I was researching my book Deeper into Darkness, one of the first things Jerry McCann did after Madeleine was abducted, in inverted commas, was he went out and he either raised the shutters if they were down, or he he lowered them if they were open. I can't quite remember which one it was, but he was basically, the first thing Jerry did was he demonstrated that an abduction was possible. That's the first thing he did. But like within 10 or 20 minutes of them supposedly finding out that Madeleine had been abducted. So at around about 20 past 10, half past 10 at that night. And quite a few people asked, did you notice that the shutters were down or up at a certain time? And unfortunately there wasn't much certainty or consistency between observations. Not going to go into that here. I'm just going to wrap up this short little analysis by referring to something right at the near the end of the article. It says something about if the Superior Court decides to free him, it will severely impact the case. It's like, oh shit, oh no, we've just found the suspect in the Madeleine McCann case, and now he's going to be free. Oh no, oh, this is terrible. And then they say, you know, oh, he could vanish and then we'll never be able to put him on trial. And I put out a tweet earlier today just saying, so if Christian Brückner doesn't vanish, if he stays in jail, will he be put on trial? Ooh, really? So if he stays in jail, there'll be a trial. Hey, really? So if Christian Brückner stays in trial, he will be he'll be tried for Madeleine McCann's murder. Is that true? No, it's not true, and that's already been established in previous articles, saying we've got so much evidence on this guy. It's amazing. Is a bombshell evidence. We've got so much evidence. We've got concrete evidence that Madeleine's dead. We just sort of don't have that evidence, and we can't take him to court because we sort of don't have evidence. So we've got evidence. We just don't really have evidence. We've nailed Madeleine McCann's murderer, but we're kind of going to set him free. I hope nobody minds. That's what the circus has come to. So a final thing that I want to tell you is I'm writing a book. It's kind of quite a short book on Madeleine McCann called Beach of Light, and it really just deals with this brief flare-up in the media narrative. And what I've already found in the, because I'm taking it day by day, what is basically communicated on each day, what is the PR strategy behind this, how does the narrative unfold, that's sort of what I'm looking at. I'm sort of taking a bit of a step back and trying to see how everything is weaved together. And what I can already tell you is all of the stories that were published kind of came out on the same day. Now, bear in mind that New York and America and Canada and so on are on a totally different time zones to the UK and Europe and so on. And yet, all of the stories on Madeleine, on this bombshell prime suspect, came out on the same day, June 3rd. What does that tell you? It tells you that more than likely the idea was for a international simultaneous release of this information. So what that means is media houses around the world, certain agencies were told ahead of time. They were either told individually or collectively, we're giving you the story and we need you to publish it at this time, and that's exactly what they did. In other words, it's an orchestrated media event. It's almost like sending out a press release. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what happened. In other words, not just random news, just as this suspect isn't random suspect. All of it was timed to perfection, and all of it was done according to a premeditated plan. I'm just saying that is what it looks like. And ultimately, what's going to happen? It looks like nothing's going to happen. So it looks like it was just to say, again, on the anniversary of Madeleine's disappearance, oh, we've got a suspect again. And looks like he's going to get out of jail and blah, blah, blah. And of course, what all of this seems to be hiding, what all of this seems to be concealing, is that is the Met getting its annual budget for the McCann case? Is the McCann case going to continue to be investigated? And I think the answer is no. And I think the answer is, well, why would you continue to investigate it if you found the suspect? It's Christian Brückner, isn't it? Isn't the suspect to Madeleine McCann Christian Brückner? But they caught him. Oh, but he was set free. Yeah, but we're not going to investigate it anymore because it's over. They caught him. He got away. There wasn't really enough evidence, or we don't really know what happened, but that was the end. Oh, is that why they stopped searching for Madeleine? Yes. Oh, okay. Now I understand. Okay. So that's how it ended. And she's not alive anymore. Yes. But so where is she? No, we don't know. Oh, okay. In the previous video, I posed a kind of rhetorical question. Is this the end game? Well, let me ask you again. Is this the end game? What do you think? Thank you for listening on Patreon. I've just uploaded the third chapter in the audiobook of Two Pollyannas. It's the third book in the Two-Face series. So if you're interested in that, head to Patreon. It's on the $5 tier. Also on this channel today is a very interesting letter written today, 130 years ago, by Vincent van Gogh to his brother. If you haven't caught up on the Van Gogh series, this is quite a good letter to listen to, so check it out. And wherever you are in the world, stay safe. Make sure you are getting enough sleep. That's one of the best things you can do for your immunity. Eat well, sleep well, and I'll see you guys next time.